Hi everybody, today is Wednesday, April 8th, and we are going to start our circle time by reading a story, and then we are going to look at a hundreds chart and do some number recognition, and then we are going to practice writing numbers 15 through 25, and then we are going to read a Ranger Rick story about whales and learn about where they live. And then I have a self-help activity for you guys to do at home. So let's start with our story of the day. Our story today is called Miss Nelson is Missing. And what do you guys think happens in this story that makes Miss Nelson go missing? Let's find out. The kids in room 207 were misbehaving again. Spitballs stuck to the ceiling. Paper planes whizzed through the air. They were the worst behaved class in the whole school. Now, settle down, said Miss Nelson in her sweet voice. But the class would not settle down. They whispered and giggled. They squirmed and made faces. They were even rude during story hour, and they always refused to do their lessons. Something will have to be done, said Miss Nelson. The next morning, Miss Nelson did not come to school. Wow, yelled the kids. Now we can really act up. They began to make more spitballs and paper planes. Today, let's just be terrible, they said. Not so fast, hissed an unpleasant voice. A woman in an ugly black dress stood before them. I am your new teacher, Miss Viola Swamp, as she rapped the desk with her ruler. Where is Miss Nelson? Asked the kids. Never mind that, snapped Miss Swamp. Open those arithmetic books. Miss Nelson's kids did as they were told. They could see that Miss Swamp was a real witch. She meant business. Right away, she put them to work, and she loaded them down with homework. We will have no story hour today, said Miss Swamp. And keep your mouth shut, she said. Sit perfectly still, and if you misbehave, you'll be sorry. Maybe something terrible happened to Miss Nelson. Maybe she was gobbled up by a shark, said one of the kids, but that didn't seem very likely. Maybe Miss Nelson went to Mars, said another kid, but that didn't seem likely either. I know, exclaimed one know-it-all. Maybe Miss Nelson's car was carried off by a swarm of angry butterflies, but that was the least likely of all. The kids in room 207 became very discouraged. It seemed that Miss Nelson was never coming back, and they would be stuck with Miss Viola Swamp forever. They heard footsteps in the hall. Here comes the witch, they whispered. Hello, children, said someone in a sweet voice. It was Miss Nelson. Did you miss me? She asked. We certainly did, cried all the kids. Where were you? That's my little secret, said Miss Nelson. How about a story hour? Oh, yes, cried the kids. Miss Nelson noticed that during story hour, no one was rude or silly. What brought about this lovely change? She asked. That's our little secret, said the kids. Back home, Miss Nelson took off her coat and hung it in the closet, right next to the ugly black dress. When it was time for bed, she sang a little song. I'll never tell, she said to herself with a smile. P.S. Detective McSmog is working a new case. He is now looking for Miss Viola Swamp. Do you guys know who Miss Viola Swamp was in the story? If you look at the last page, Miss Nelson is sitting in her bedroom, and in her closet she has a dark black dress. And do you remember Miss Viola Swamp wore a black dress? So who do you think could have been Miss Viola Swamp? Yeah, you're right. It was Miss Nelson, and she was tricking her kids because they were being so naughty that she wanted to teach them a lesson about being nice. Otherwise, they would have a super mean teacher. Next, we are going to do some number recognition, and I have printed out a hundreds chart that's a little hard to see. That was the wrong one. So I'm going to pull the camera a little closer. But this is our hundreds chart, and it is just like the one at school, and it has numbers 1 through 100. So while we're sitting here, I'm going to point to some numbers, and I want you guys to try to figure out what number it is. So we'll start off with something easy. And what's this number? Oh yeah, that's number 1. Good job. How about this number? That's the number 20. What about this number? That's the number 13. Good job. What about this number? That's the number 4. And most of you guys are 4 years old. And some of you guys are how old? That's the number 5. What about this number? That's the number 22. Good job. And what about this number? That's the number 7. And this number? That's the number 3. Good job, guys. So now let's practice counting from 1 all the way down to 50 like you guys do so well during circle time. So let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and then 40. Sorry guys, it's a little hard to see. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Good job, guys, and thank you for helping me count. All right. And next, this is a fun little magazine. It is called Ranger Rick, and he learns all about animals. And this one is the month of Florida panthers and different animals that you find when you're in Florida. So we're going to learn about Big Blue today. And what do you guys think Big Blue is? It could be maybe about the big blue ocean, or maybe it could be about a big blue whale, or a big blue boat, or it could be so many blue things you find. So why don't we take a look together? It says, make way for the blue whale, the most gigantic animal on earth. Its body is as long as 3 school buses. Its tongue weighs as much as an elephant, and its heart is more than 640 times heavier than yours. That is so heavy. No doubt about it, a blue whale is beyond big. This amazing whale lives in the world's oceans. Its body is shaped like a submarine, which helps the whale glide smoothly through the water. It moves its tail, which is about as wide as a giraffe is tall, up and down to swim, and it uses its flippers to steer. But there's a lot more to the blue whale than its size. Keep reading for a whale of a story. And here you see a picture of a boat, and it says, oh, and there's the whale. I didn't even see it. Blue whales spend a lot of time feeding out of sight underwater, but at times they hang out near the surface, as the people on this boat were lucky enough to see. Would you guys be scared if you were on this boat and saw this gigantic whale swimming by? I think I would be really scared. This part shows the whale's skin. It's a little hard to see, but I'm going to bring this to school when we come back to school so you guys can get a closer look. It says big gulps. As you might expect, a blue whale eats lots of food. It can take bigger mouthfuls than any other animal. But as you might not expect, the food it eats is very, very small. I would think a blue whale would eat big food because it's so big. But a blue whale's diet is made up of shrimp-like creatures, each of which is about the length of your pinky. You guys hold up your pinky? That's pretty small for that giant whale. The whale doesn't chew up all that shrimp though. It's because it can't chew. It doesn't have any teeth. Instead, it has long bristly stuff in its mouth, like the teeth of a comb. The baleen hangs from each side of the whale's upper jaw, and when the whale finds a big cloud of shrimp to eat, it plunges right through the middle of the cloud, mouth wide open, and along the whale's throat opens up and catches all the shrimp. So he probably swims like this with his mouth open, and he sees all the shrimp. It goes and gulps them all up. Once the whale has a big mouthful, it closes its jaws and uses its tongue to squish all the water back through the comb-like teeth. The shrimp can't fit through the teeth, and so they are now trapped. Then the whale licks them off and swallows them whole. Everyone go gulp. This says whale talk. Blue whales are more than just big eaters. They love to talk too. They grunt and they hum and they moan and click and make other sounds to talk with each other. And they're among the loudest animals on earth. They can hear each other's calls from halfway across the ocean. But lately, whales are having trouble hearing each other. Oh no. Human-created noises in the ocean, such as the loud engines on big ships, are making the whales hard to hear. This could make it difficult for them to find their mates and their friends. And here's a picture of two blue whales. And it says the blue whales turn on their sides to scoop up big amounts of food at the surface. So if they find shrimp up here, they're going to turn their body sideways to get more. The blue whale's spout can rise 60 feet into the air and be seen for many miles. Do you guys see his spout? And he went pshh, all the water splashed up in the air. You may have seen cartoons or drawings showing a whale spouting a fountain of water, but that's not really what happens. A blue whale is a mammal just like you. And just as you do, it needs to breathe air, so it does this by coming to the surface and taking air through its two blowholes on top of its head. But before it inhales, you guys all inhale, go, it exhales the old air out to let the new air in. That breath is warmer than the air, so it looks just like the breath does on a cold day. You guys know when it's cold outside and you blow your air out of your mouth and you can see your air? That's what it looks like with the whales. Before the whale goes back under the water, the blowholes close tight to keep the water out. Sometimes as the whale surfaces, a small amount of water that pools around the blowhole may be included in its spout. Blue whales really get around. They may migrate thousands of miles in a year. During summer, most of them travel toward the colder waters where there's more food. Then in the winter, they head back toward the equator to mate and have babies. A blue whale mom gives birth to one whale at a time. And do you guys know what a baby whale is called? It's called a calf, just like a cow has a calf. When the calf is born, it is already one of the biggest animals in the world, about 6 times as long as you are. It will nurse from its mom for about 6 to 18 months, at first drinking as much as 50 gallons of milk a day. Baby blue whales have a greater chance of growing up and living long lives than they used to. In the first half of the 1900s, blue whales were hunted until they almost disappeared. But blue whales are still endangered. That means they're in trouble and they may become extinct and we won't see them anymore. But with protection, their numbers are growing. Scientists are trying to learn as much as they can about these giants in order to save them. They want to be sure the blue whales remain as an important part of our ocean forever. And this is a picture of some kids at a museum, and they're sitting underneath a giant life-size whale to see how big it is compared to them. So if you guys want to learn more about whales and how they live, you can look at a YouTube video with mommy or daddy and they can show you swimming. Just like on the Wild Kratts, they had whales that they swam with. So I think that's pretty cool. And now before we go, I want to practice with you guys writing numbers 15 through 25. So if you want to pause the video, you can go get your piece of paper and pick out what you're going to write with. Today, I chose your guys' favorite color, red, to write on my board with. So our first number is going to be the number 15. And 15 starts with a 1. Just like that, you have a line down. And then the number 5. You put a line at the top like that. And then you put one down. And then you go all the way around. And there's your number 15. And if yours matches, that means you did a great job. And what number comes after 15? You're right, number 16. And 16 is just like 15. It has a number 1, a long line, and then a 6. And to make it easier to make your 6, you can make a circle like that, and then give it a piece of hair all the way up. And there's your number 6. Number 16, sorry. And after 16 is number 17. Number 17 has a 1, 2, just like this, all the way down. And then to make your 7, you do a line on top, and then you do a diagonal line all the way down. And there is number 17. And after 17 is number 18. So you draw a long line. And then an 8, remember an 8 looks like a snowman. And you have a circle on the bottom. And then you have a circle on the top. And there is number 18. You guys are doing a great job doing your numbers. After 18 is number 19. And 19 has a long line too. And then you can do a circle, or you can make your line first. It doesn't matter. I did a circle first. And then draw your line all the way down. And there's number 19. And after 19 is 20. And 2s are a little tricky. So start your 2, make your line at the bottom like that. And then start at this side, the side that's close to you, and go all the way up on a diagonal line. Like that. And then make your circle on top. And there's your 2. And then to make 20, you just need to add a 0. And there is the number 20. And do you guys know what number comes after 20? Good job. It's the number 21. So we need to make another 2. Remember, a line at the bottom, and then all the way up, and then around. And then it has a number 1. And there's number 21. You guys are doing such a good job writing your numbers. I'm so proud of you. And now we have number 22. So this one we're going to make 2 2s. So your line at the bottom, and then your diagonal line up, and a hill. And then another line at the bottom, and a diagonal line up, and a hill. And there is a 22. And after 22 comes number 23. And there's a line at the bottom again for your 2. And then all the way up and around. And there's a 2 and then a 3. And it's kind of like a backward C. So you could do one C like that, and then come back to the middle and draw another C. So it's like 2 big C's to make the number 3. And after number 23 is number 24. Good job. So you have your line at the bottom again, and then you go diagonal up, and then make your little hill, and there's your 2, and then 4 has a long line down, and then come to the middle of your line and go across, and then go all the way up. And there's the number 24. And what number did we say we're going to stop at? You're right, number 25. So your line at the bottom, and then your diagonal line all the way up. And then make your little hill. There's your 2. And do you guys remember how you do your 5? You do your line at the top, and then your line down, and then your backward C. And there is your number 25. You guys did a great job. And if you need more practice, you can rewind the video so you can see what numbers you had trouble with. And our self-help skill for today is I want everybody to help Mommy and Daddy to set up your dinner tonight. So what do you think? When you're eating dinner, what do we need? You sit down at the table, and sometimes you get thirsty. So you should probably get a glass. Maybe you're going to drink milk or juice or water. So you can give everybody in your family a cup. And then you probably need a plate to eat. So maybe Mommy will help you with this if your plates are glass. And you can give everybody a plate. And then everybody probably needs a fork and maybe a spoon, depending on what you eat, and then maybe a knife, and maybe Mommy and Daddy or your big brother and sister can help you set out your knife. And I would love to see your pictures of you setting up your table. That would be so cool to see you guys helping Mommy and Daddy out. I hope everybody has a great day. I had so much fun learning about the blue whale with you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.